Hello and welcome to the second episode of Let's Plug in our game into more famous games. And today we are here to talk about Lamentations of the Flame Princess, which is the most famous game, and Wretched Bastards, which is the not so famous game.
The most wretched.
Yes, but the most wretched game. So the title is If You Like This,
Why don't you try
this.
this?
And now let's explain why should you try it. Among other reasons, because it's thicker.
Well,
Yeah.
but there's a good reason for that. Well,
Yeah.
first, let's just say that Lamentations for itself, well, I don't have to explain Lamentations if people that are watching the video. It's a set of OSR rules, but at the same time, it's also, I would say, a concept or a brand. Wretched Bastards on the other hand, well, it's also a set of OSR rules, although here
Not anymore,
you
of
don't
course.
have
It's
it exactly. Here you don't have the rules anymore. So
or
this is
just
basically a
a
setting.
little bit. Yeah, it's a
You have a
campaign
little
setting
bit.
with some rules in it because the actual set of rules is kind of generic, is to all the wretched to all the wretched games. So in this one, the part that has rules and statistics and all that, it's about 66 pages. The rest of it is just setting.
Well, unlike Lamentations, well, the idea of the cover of the book is that it takes place on Earth, real Earth. This takes place in Antilia, that is, well, Earth,
Yeah,
but not really. Why?
kind
Well,
of.
kind of, exactly. This is a personal thing that I have with fantasy. I like the dark, twisted fantasy. Yes, so this is dark, twisted, not only wretched and weird. That's why it connects with Lamentations. But I can't really put all the stupid fantasy things in real Earth. So we invented a parallel world that is Earth, but it's not. In that way, we are comfortable, or I am comfortable, to put all the stupid shit there.
Yeah, it's easier that way to come up with strange stuff and but in
It can
practice,
be in Earth.
yeah, well, yes, of course, because if you just change the names of the places in Antilia, you will find that it's easy. For
Well,
example,
you can do what we did, and well,
yeah,
the reverse of
but
what
on
we did.
reverse, yeah. So, for example, um, let's choose a place here. Albion is England. Uh, Andril is where
I'm looking for the
where
map. I
this
don't
takes
know what
place.
page it is. The map.
It's France. Carabas is Europe. Baetic is Spain.
Basically, what we did, or what Miguel did, we put the world map and invented stupid names for the countries. Well, not stupid.
Not all
They're
of
not
them.
invented. Some of them are inspired.
Some of them are just fictional names that have no connection to real world, but most of them have some kind of connection. Some of them are, for example, one of the names I said was England.
Yes.
Albeit it's, well, it's not quite, but it's almost. Then we have Vitulia is
Bavaria
and Bavar.
or
No, it's not.
Bavar,
It's not
exactly. It's
Bavar. It's
not
Bavar,
Bavaria. Yes,
but
it's
it's
Bavar.
based in something that has a connection to Germany. Baetica has a connection to Spain, and Vitulia was an old name for that part. Vitulia is Spain, is Italy.
Yes.
Um, there are other places. For example, there's one name that is a connection, but to Wretched, which is Avalida. That's what I named.
But it's also a real name connection, because Morocco was.
Yeah, but the place is the same. But I can show you the map here. Well,
I was
not
looking for
really.
I was looking for the page, but
Okay, it's impossible to show you that. Almost impossible. Okay, never mind.
okay. So, Wretched Bastards is a dark, low fantasy setting. I would say a dark low fantasy world. I would say, if I'm going to compare it with Lamentations, Lamentation is supposed to be metal. I think Wretched Bastards is
Spaghetti
hard
fantasy.
rock. Yes, and hard rock. If it's a musical,
Oh yeah,
it's hard rock. It's Motorhead.
if this is of course this is Motorhead. fuck heavy metal. That's rock.
But you can say about spaghetti
Yeah, it's also
fantasy,
spaghetti because our main inspiration are bad movies that copied.
and most of them are Italian movies. That's where the spaghetti
Yeah,
comes from. But another similarity with Lamentations is that we really like to write adventures.
yeah,
Or I for
and
bastards it
settings.
means just me exactly in settings. So it's like tons of them.
So let's talk a little
Well,
bit
it's
about that
not tons.
because I would say that this is less important probably than the scenarios
Yeah,
itself.
because these ones
This
people
is
can just pick and adapt
and also there's included in this book
an
probably the
adventure.
most an adventure and the small setting that were the first
Yeah, I don't have
including the
that one
first
here
campaign
because that
setting.
cover is ugly compared to this one.
Yeah, the Seven
The
Bastards.
Seven Bastards. Okay, so I'm going to try to show them and talk a little bit about them. So this is Daughters of Darkness. This is a dark fantasy, well, very dark. It has vampires, kind of lesbian vampires. It takes place in a convent. It's not really a convent because we call it another, but basically it's a nunnery. And at the same time, you have this political intrigue like Game of Thrones. So this is interesting if you want something that is horror and is also full of intrigue and political intrigue. I said intrigue twice.
Yes, there's lots of intrigue,
Yes, there's
intrigue
lots of
and intrigue.
intrigues and lesbian sex. Well, there's not a lot of them, but you can put it there if you want.
Yes, don't say there's
Then
sex, or people will think that sex is mandatory to play the
no,
game.
it's not
You
mandatory.
don't
I'm
have to,
joking.
for example, you don't have to have sex while playing the game. I would recommend you don't do that. We
Yes,
never
no,
did it, so
no, no, no,
don't have
no.
sex.
Especially because we
Also,
do it in group.
yeah, and we don't we are
Yeah,
not into that thing.
we
So
are not that weird or edgy
no, we are not edgy at all.
at all. We're quite boring.
Our
Sound of
scenarios
Madness. I
not
love
exactly.
no, it not our scenarios are not boring, but we are. I love this cover, The Sound of Madness. So this is inspired in I'm being stupid. I don't remember the name of the film.
Hills are alive,
Yes,
the
no, that's
sound of
not that one.
music.
Actually, it's the Cannibal Holocaust.
No, the cover is
Ah,
inspired by the
yes, the
sound.
cover is inspired by the Sound of Music, but the adventure is actually inspiring Cannibal Holocaust. So the idea is that the party gets lost in the mountains that are filled with
Alive with
orcs.
the sound of
Yes,
madness.
they're not normal orcs. They're orcs that are high on drugs and will try to kill you and use their faces and
Just like the nuns in Sound of Music.
exactly.
I think they were high on drugs and cannibals. I
Well,
don't know.
there was just
Maybe
one.
not.
I
No,
think
there
there was
were
just
more
one nun.
nuns.
Yeah, but
No,
only one of them.
no,
Well, that was not the nun. It was the novice,
yes, but
the naughty nun.
besides Maria, there were several other nuns that they just don't enter the movie after that. Other
Oh,
things?
yes, I like this one very much. Labia. This one has been uh subjected to is it what's the name of the guy? Price, the
I
guy
think
that does
yeah,
that
10
review and
foot
said
pole is
this.
the name
Yeah,
of
10
the.
foot pole. Yes. So
It's
this
the
is a
blog.
dungeon. It
It's a blog I wouldn't touch with a 10 foot pole.
Labia, it has a very interesting cover. So don't let be fooled. This is just a stupid dungeon. So the cover is just to sell. But in the end, this is the dungeon when you have to go to the dungeon to save the curse that afflicted the princess. So I particularly like this one. It was my first dungeon, and I tried not to be a regular dungeon. It's a dungeon with a story. Then this one is also a bit special because it takes place in it's the Goat Lady. It takes place in Baetica and is actually inspired in a Portuguese story. If you follow us on Twitter or if you follow us on YouTube, you probably already heard that we are Portuguese because we're always talking about that. Not that we are proud. We're also not ashamed, but well. So this is
It's a
inspired in
fact.
a popular fairy tale in Portuguese popular fairy
Folktale,
tale,
not
folk
really
tale,
fairy tale.
yes, and also a film that is probably one of the only fantasy
Yes, our
films.
our fantasy movie. Yeah.
And it's
Well,
so bad.
not quite. Not quite a fantasy. More like a horror movie, but with
Yeah,
fantasy
and
themes.
this one is also, well, this one is also, they're all heavy on horror, as you can understand.
Yeah.
Cannibal vampires, cannibal orcs, not really cannibals because they don't eat orcs. Well, maybe they eat orcs. And the goat lady that is a kind of a she devil, and a haunted castle. And well, this one is the most recent one. It's the Temple of Flesh. This is a very edgy cover.
Hmm.
So this is a temple that is made of flesh. So it's again a dungeon. It's supposed to be really gross and edgy. Edgy, no, I mean fleshy. Do you think I was did a good work in making it disgusting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And the
very
the
fleshy.
cover is also
Yes, well,
disgusting.
I'm going to compare. If we're going to talk about Lamentations, I don't think this could ever be as disgusting as Fecal Lands, the shit dungeon. So this it could be a bit of intestine or colon, but without the shit.
Yeah.
Well, there's shit somewhere in here and the vomits
It's
and all
yeah.
that.
It's more Cronenberg than
Yes,
bathroom.
exactly. Exactly. It's a mix of machinery and a building. And the idea is the building is alive, not with the sound of music, but
With the sound
with the
of
sound of
flesh.
darkness and the flash and will come to grab you. Actually, I also like this one.
And we have harlot encounters, which is probably something interesting. And rules for STDs and drugs, lots of drugs. For example, we have rampage dust and xanthine and satin and no sleep juice and insta kill. That's more a poison than a drug.
Hmm.
So
Well, and
poisons are drugs, or drugs are poisons.
a
I
good
don't
selling point, I
know.
would also say that our adventures are cheap, not because we are cheap, but because the idea that we have is that we want to do
They are
an expensive,
inexpensive.
exactly, inexpensive books, affordable, because this is adventures, and you don't want to spend a lot of money in an adventure that you're probably going to use only once, or just going to take ideas
Even
to,
this one is not really expensive.
yes. And you can
It's
get
print on demand, so it's
if you buy the PDF, yeah, but for the ebooks, if you buy the PDF, you get the generic rules for that one, right?
yes. And I'm going to restart that thing. Not right now, but one of these days I'm going to restart the thing about if you bought the first edition, I'll give you
Hmm.
50% discount for this one. Well, when I say I'm going to restart, I'm going to restart talking about it because if you want really, you just tell me, and
Hmm.
you'll have a 50% discount. But that's a thing. If you want to buy this one and you have the first one, you can have a 50% discount.
Uh, and I was trying to remember. Please correct me. Is the Seven Bastards Adventure still available for free, or did we remove it because
No, it's in here.
it's now on this book? Yes, but
Yeah,
we had it. There was a time that it was free, just the adventure. I think now we
yeah. That
removed
that
it, right?
no reason for that
Yeah,
one.
because it's here. Well, that's it. I don't
Okay.
know if it sounds like we're desperate to sell. No, we're not desperate to sell, but we're actually desperate to have people to try our
Yes,
shit.
I think that the Wretched Bastard should. It had some impact when it was released, but since we haven't been releasing new adventures, new
Yes, I need
scenarios,
to take
I
an.
think it's a bit forgotten. But
Yeah,
it
I need to
it
do
still
that
exists. I
once
actually
again.
did
Pick up an
a
idea.
couple of things for Wretched Bastards, but it was published as a Wretched Verse, which is those
Smaller
yeah
that are not printable. Smaller
smaller
adventures,
PDF so only, so you can look for it.
but they take place. Yes, they take place in Vitulia, right? So
Yeah,
they also have. They're a bit different. You can almost use it to play a different sort of game.
you can almost use it. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Earth, and instead of calling
it's
Vitulia, you call it
it's Rome.
Rome, and it's the same thing. Okay, so we'll come back another day to
And
talk
let me
about
remember
something else.
something. If you are still watching this video during the month of August, so today is 15th of August while we are doing this video, we have a summer sale until the end of the month. Use the code summer sale and you get 35% of discount. I need to keep plug that. so people remember it.
And if you spend more than $20 at our store, you might win at the end of the month. One prize that are 3 books, 3 print books,
That you can
any
at your choice, of your
yeah,
choice.
of your choice. Yes, any 3 books. I would say probably core books because they are the most expensive in print.
Yeah, but you choose if you want to choose
Yeah, but
an
if you don't want
adventure.
to,
That's we don't mind.
yeah, we don't mind. It's cheaper. Okay, bye bye.
That's all.